Ladies and gentlemen, after a 6-minute delay, we are here for Division C East. Calculated Throw versus ReGen Ren. And joining me, my very favorite C East co-caster, Born to Shine. How's it going?
Hey, Mongus, I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing great. Because we're a little behind, we're going to jump straight into showing everybody the map picks and bans, where these teams are, how they got here, and of course, Calculated Throw has not game yet. Why is that one? It should be 0. Ignore bad overlay control. There we go. All right, so game one, Volskaya Foundry, pick of ReGen Red. We're going to go ahead and pop into the standings so far after 2 weeks here in the Nexus Gaming Series. Calculated Throwborn, undefeated, 4 map wins, 0 map losses, sitting pretty in first place.
Yep. I would expect nothing less from these guys. I've played with them. I've talked with them about stuff. They've been on their game lately.
And on the flip side, ReGen Red had a little bit of a rocky start in game one. Week one, I should say, got 0-2'd. But last week, they bounced back strong. They looked fantastic against Team Rectum. But no rest for them, getting pitted against the class of the division so far in the early going. ReGen Red versus Calculated Throw. I'm going to give these guys the R, and we can get this draft underway.
All right.
All right, Volskaya Foundry Born. What do you like on Volskaya Foundry? What's your pet pick on Volskaya? Just give all the strats away.
Give all the strats away. Well, this isn't one of my favorite maps. That cursed third objective point C. The bane of my existence. But I really do like Alex on this map for her point control. You're gonna need a strong tank like Johanna to hold down the point for the rest of your team, so your damage can get in there. Yeah, you're gonna need a strong solo lane, of course, 3-lane map. But that's about it for me.
The treadmills on the third point, they do you in, right?
Oh my god, every single time.
Pro tip, just don't fight on the treadmills. There was actually a great highlight from last season where I think it was actually, I'm positive it was ReGen Red. They had it was like the merry-go-round of death. They kept getting brought back around to the team fight, like over and over and over again. It was pretty funny. First ban Garrosh coming out by Calculated Throw. Yeah, Volskaya Foundry, newest map, but doesn't seem new anymore. No, Alteract is the newest. The second newest map. Zeratul banned out by ReGen Red. And this one is really all about the toys. Get those turrets, get the biotic emitter. They give you such an advantage when you're fighting over those long, drawn-out objectives. And if you're a team that forgets to prioritize those items, you're really putting yourself on the back foot.
Yep, absolutely. As many items as you can get ahead of time is best. And there's the Alex ban. Like I said, she's great on this map. Dragon can help you eke out those last few percentage points if your team's struggling to lock that down. And then of course she has ultimates as well, so she's highly valuable in a team fight here.
Yeah, when you get to that double overtime, 99%, and you can pop that Dragon Queen, it really forces the other side to make a bad decision. They either fight into it, which you really don't want to do, or you cede the objective, which, once again, you really don't want to do. White main banned out. I'm a little surprised in a lot of the games I've casted. We're seeing a lot of the Anubarak Diablo bans coming out, but both those tanks going through. First pick Jaina for Mystic. That's kind of his bay there, his specialty, Mystic on the Jaina.
Yep, the white main and the Zeratul are target bans for sure. I think it's, if I'm remembering correctly, I think Grievant plays a mean white main, so that might be why we're seeing that ban there.
Well, that would explain that, but having said that, the generally considered top 2 tanks in the meta right now, Diablo and Anubarak, still on the board, but instead we're going to see Anna, who's seeing a lot of bans lately as well. Selected for ReGen Red, and Steady Eddie Johanna, always good, never great, but she is really good at just walking the other direction and nobody can stop her.
Yeah, like I said, I like her on this map because she can hold down that front line on the point and let your damage do their job. Anna, oh, and there's a Nubarak, like you said, he got made it through the draft, and we see him picked.
Yeah, and I love Raynor with Jaina. The slows
Mhm.
for Jaina with the ace in the
Yep.
hole on the Raynor. It basically gives Raynor a permanent 15% bonus on his auto
Yep.
attacks, and he already does a lot of damage. It's such a good, kind of peanut butter and jelly combo. The selection of a Nubarak as well. Um, is this going to be a game where Diablo goes through the draft untouched? That would be bizarre in the extreme. I don't think I've seen that happen this season thus far.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, on the side of Regen Red, I don't typically see Johanna and Diablo together, and I don't know, maybe paired with the Anubrak would be the only thing I could think of, but
It
even
built,
that isn't traditional.
No, but Beetle Build the Nubarak is effective in the off lane in a lot of matchups, so
Hmm.
I could see going that way. The Rexar ban is interesting. That's something we're seeing a little bit more of. Was it? I think when you were here with me last time, we saw Rexar,
Hmm.
and I think it was calculated throw. So now that ban makes a lot of sense.
That's definitely a target ban for sure. The Kael'thas ban is one I like. Bomb spreading on the point is just awful.
Yeah, it takes away another AOE burst mage. Really, the only AOE burst mage left, other than Orphea, I suppose. Two selections here for
Oh.
Regen Red.
Glory to the Horde.
Thrall. I like that pick.
And Junkrat.
Junkrat. Interesting.
Yeah, Junkrat's one of those heroes that you don't see too much, but when he plays well, you wonder why he's not seen more, because he's so annoying.
Oh my gosh, yes. The long range poke. If we see Thrall take Earthquake, combo that with Riptire, that could do some nasty damage.
Yeah, the displacement with the concussion line, and then we have an Arthas Arazine. That is so much control for
Wow.
calculated throw. You cocoon out the tank and roll over whoever else is around. I really like that draft from calculated throw. I almost feel like you want this to be a frontliner to give Johanna some help, but I don't know about a solo assassin Junkrat. But they are going to go with the Leoric for the percentage damage, and I think this is a March Leo. I don't really see a good Entomb setup, so I think this is March.
I'm with you on that one, but I like the pick. With, like you said, the amount of control on the side of calculated throw, I think they needed someone else a little beefy on the front line with Johanna. So I think that was a good pick.
Yeah, interested to see how this goes. I don't think I've seen a solo assassin Junkrat, at least not in a little while. So I am curious if he's going to have the volume of damage to satisfy that role. But on the other side of it, I mean, Thrall and Leo both do provide frontline damage. So especially BMed and chat brings up the nano boosted Thrall is no joke either.
Oh, that's a combo I have yet to try. I play Anna myself, but I don't think I've tried that one yet. So note to self.
Yeah, nano boosted Thrall is
Hmm.
especially if he can stick on whoever he's trying to get onto. It's really good.
Hmm. Oh, I bet.
We haven't been running a lot of Anna simply because she's been banned so much. It's almost kind of like, what's the point?
Yeah. And if I'm remembering correctly, Eye of Horus still hasn't been
It
fixed.
has not. It is still
So it
banned.
is still banned
Still
within
banned.
NGS. So yep, we're definitely going to see that nano boost alt from her.
All right, game one, calculated throw versus Regen Red. The blue team, calculated throw, Mystic on Jaina, Mona Derp on Raynor, Scooty Puff Jr., I love that name, on Arthas, Scooter Man, we have two scooters, on Anubarak, and Grievant on the Monk Arazine.
And over on the red team for Regen Red, we've got Recycling on the Anna, Zulkin on Junkrat, Carve on Thrall, Arrow on Johanna, and Shui on Leoric.
Let the battle begin.
So both teams look like they're going to honor the ceremonial 5-on-5 clash in the mid lane for no particular reason. So let's see who gets the better of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
actually,
already
if you're Jaina, there is a reason. She wants to stack for the ice quest. I always think it's funny how you charge mid and flash.
Yeah.
Calculated throw, really not stepping into it though. They just kind of let ReGen clear the wave, and everybody goes on their merry way. Now we have a Raynor Leoric in the bottom lane. That's interesting. I think Raynor's gonna win this actually. If Shui can't hit his Drain Hope on the Raynor, he's gonna have a rough time, especially before he gets Neil Peasants at 4, the wave clear at 4. A nice adjustment there by Calculated Throw.
Yeah, I don't think I would have expected Raynor down there in the solo lane, but again, so that could be a good choice here. We see both teams up top, of course, doing the rotations between mid and top, trying to get all their soak.
And ReGen Red prioritizing the toys a little bit earlier here than Calculated Throw, but it looks like Kerosene will go start, so both teams currently on their bottom lane turrets here. And you can see Raynor is definitely having a little more success in this bottom lane there, but Shui is playing really smart. He's just really not even stepping into that poke damage. He's just stepping back, staying safe, throwing his Qs out, collecting the XP, and not taking unnecessary damage.
Yep, both teams trying to play it safe, you know, trying to avoid that early team kill or that early team damage. I mean, and we saw that in mid on the side of Calculated Throw. Junkrat was already sending out that poke damage, and they didn't want to dive in and eat too much of that. I think that's smart.
So within the next 30 seconds or so, we should get the warning for the first objective and what has been a very straightforward early game. No cheeky kills or weird rotations or bad decisions. Pretty straightforward and clean. Here to start this one off.
Yep, I would expect both teams to start heading over to their siege camps here fairly soon. But yeah, like you said, so far very clean, nothing too crazy. Yep, and then we see Calculated Throw already on their siege camp, trying to get that out before this first objective starts.
And they may parlay this into a small advantage. ReGen Red has not gone to their siege giants yet. It looks like Thrall and Anna will work their way over there, but they're going to be a little bit late. You can see Calculated Throw is actually holding this. So both sides will actually get those top lane mercenary camps at about the same time. And the other thing to keep in mind too on this first objective, this mid lane conveyor belt allows a hard flank. I've seen so many times where that solo laner comes flying into that mid objective, especially on like an Imperius or somebody with hard CC, and just crushes that flank. So really want to watch for Raynor or Leoric coming on the hard rotation.
Yep. It looks like we've got Junkrat still top. Arthas hanging out there too. They're trying to get the siege camps cleared. So for right now, it's going to be 4v4 here in mid on this first objective. No one getting any percentage yet.
Yeah, this game has been, I mean, a complete mirror. These teams, almost action for action, choice for choice, damage for damage. Nobody really getting the early advantage. There goes that flank. Leoric does get there, kind of by himself, forced to Wraith walk to safety. However, ReGen Red does now have the pressure in the top lane as their camp is still standing. Calculated Throw stepping in, stuns and blizzards. A lot of damage coming out for both sides at the healing reduction, the sleep. Everybody pressing their buttons, and it is Calculated Throw that actually withdraws from the objective point.
They went into that fight down at talent tier. They didn't get 7s until towards the end of that fight. So I'm not surprised ReGen Red was able to deal some serious damage there in the first half.
I love this decision by ReGen Red. They sent the team over to get the turret, but Johanna still has her toe in the pool. She's sitting right on the edge of the objective there to keep Calculated Throw from contesting. Scooty Puff, though, does get concussion mined into ReGen Red. He's in trouble. The heals keep him up, allow him to walk away, but Monk and Arthas are very low, dueling turrets here, and here comes Shui.
Still contested here. Scooty Puff able to come back in. Those dueling turrets are... dueling turrets gone now. There we go. It looks like Calculated Throw is gonna take the point for themselves.
Yeah, now this whole time, what's left of this camp for ReGen Red is pushing in the top lane. And in these 5-on-5 fights, it kind of seems right now like ReGen Red is just outlasting them between the poke from the Junkrat and the healing reduction from Ana. Calculated Throw's having a really hard time staying in there, evidenced by Karazim, the first to fall.
Yep, just like you said, they didn't have as much sustain quite as ReGen Red. We're slightly later on the talents. They still haven't cleared top, so for now the advantage going back over to ReGen.
Yeah, I think the combination of a triple front line, so a lot of hit points with Johanna and Thrall and Leoric, and the healing reduction, and an AoE healing reduction on very clumped up fights from Recyclic really paid dividends for ReGen Red there.
Yep, no, I agree 100%. Like I said, I really like Johanna on this map because she can just walk onto the point and stay there and say, okay, what are you going to do about it?
Mystic takes a huge chunk from the Rock'em Sock'em robot. Leoric now able to double soak with Neil Peasants at 4. Arthas trying to match him won't be quite as effective, but now Raynor here with the 4-man. Instead, Arthas down in the solo.
I like that choice. Raynor's damage is going to be much better for clearing the Protector, but it looks like ReGen does get that top well, which is such a high priority before the second objective.
And not just top well, they have level 10s first here as Nano Boost for Ana, Riptire for Junkrat, Earthquake for Thrall, Blessed Shield for Johanna, and I was wrong, Born. It is going to be Entomb for Leoric. So I wonder if that's going to be Entomb Riptire?
Possibly. Jaina could be a target for that if they watch carefully and see if Raynor's heal on his E is down, could be a potential target as well. But yeah, I'm a little surprised by the Entomb pick. I wouldn't have predicted that.
So ReGen Red doesn't get too much of an advantage with their level 10s. They're able to prep the top lane for the next objective. They are also able to secure the Biotic Emitter, but not before level 10s have arrived here for Calculated Throw.
And let's take a look and see what we have. We got Ring of Frost, Army of the Dead for Arthas, Hyperion for Raynor, Cocoon on the Anubarak, and 7-sided Strike for Karazim.
And we have a fight breaking out. Turns out it was Entomb Riptire, and it was on Jaina Born, just as predicted. She goes down. Thrall is Cocoon, but it does not matter. ReGen Red looking really strong here in the early going.
Yep, and that was a good pick, although everyone will be back up in time for this next objective.
I mean, but with the length of these objectives, ReGen Red can actually probably soak 13 before stepping into this next objective. So Calculated Throw definitely having some decisions to make before this next objective starts. Not only that, ReGen Red will be able to clear out the top mercs as well as securing the mercs of their own.
It looks like Raynor getting caught out here a little bit in top lane.
Yeah, he checked that bush where Johanna was, and Junkrat and Johanna really put a hurting on him.
But Mona will make it out of there safely. They've got a little bit of catching up to do, about a level behind, so I think you're right. ReGen Red is going to get 13s here before that third objective. Might be a little late on Calculated Throw.
Now, the one thing about that team fight, though, ReGen Red did use that turret. So currently Calculated Throw sitting on one turret, ReGen Red no turrets, but with the Biotic Emitter and level 13. Everybody's heroics are up, so this is going to be all hands on deck. Everybody will have their buttons to press. And let's see how patient Calculated Throw is going to be here, and how quickly ReGen Red gets on this point to start channeling as soon as possible.
Looks like they already on the point. Looks like they're going to get the first bit of percentage points here as Calculated Throw. Looks like they're trying to get 13, I bet, before going in, which is a smart move on their part.
Yeah, that is 100% true. Arthas is basically free pushing in the bottom. Leoric is staying mid. So ReGen Red has their hands all over the top part of this map, while Calculated Throw playing a little passive in the top, with Arthas pushing in the bottom, just waiting for 13. Then he'll be on his way up. I imagine that'll put this Biotic Emitter at about 60% or so by the time Arthas gets up here. But that will give us a 5v5 even talent tiers here momentarily.
Yep. Like you said, all those ultimates are up, so everybody has their buttons to press, and we'll have to see what happens here.
So here we go. Leoric taking the brunt of the initial assault. A 3-man cocoon. A huge Riptire. Scooty Puff Jr. is in trouble. Junkrat is cocooned. Arrow is low, and he is not. Yes, is the first to fall. Quickly followed by Arthas. A barroom brawl. Everybody going low, but so far only 2 deaths.
With 2 deaths, yeah, 4v4 now, 1 death on each team, so there's still... See, the healing camp has been used on the side of ReGen Red. We've got turrets down from Calculated Throw, and it looks like ReGen's going to be maybe backing out here for a little bit.
I think that's the call. You just back out, wait for that turret to expire. You don't want to fight into that. They even have the time to go down and get their own turret if they want to and come back up. But good patience. And a Nubarak is so low. I would have actually liked to have seen a Nubarak maybe reset in that.
Yeah, that Junkrat mine. Oh, he gets out of there with his Unstoppable, even though he landed in the Entomb. So for now, still up and kicking.
Yeah, Nubarak, very low health and mana. He's going to have limited utility this fight. ReGen Red stepping in one more time. The healing reduction and the group stuns from Johanna. They do cocoon the Junkrat, but it does not matter. A Nubarak goes down.
Grievant getting knocked out of the fight by the Junkrat mine, and Bring missing both targets. And here comes the Riptire again. Both Karazim and Jaina really low. Chased off the point. No further deaths, but the Protector going over to ReGen Red for the 2nd time.
Yeah, that if nothing else, that Riptire just claimed that Triglav Protector for ReGen.
Yep. The Riptires have been on point so far this game. Like you said, you had mentioned, you know, being concerned about the solo assassin Junkrat, but so far I think it's been a worthwhile pick at the top of the standings for both siege and hero damage currently.
Yeah, and the last 2 team fights, they've actually targeted the Junkrat with the cocoon, and it really hasn't seemed to matter. I think Calculated Throw is just having a hard time dealing with as Arthas gets entombed and picked off in the bottom lane. They just don't have an answer for a Thrall and a Leoric and a Johanna barreling down on them. They don't seem to have the raw damage to get past it.
Yep. And like you said, that healing reduction from Ana with everyone so clumped up on these points and stuff, that could be brutal. Not could be, is brutal.
Yeah, and I do think it was maybe in retrospect, if you're Calculated Throw, you know, that's something they might want to go look at. A Nubarak, I know he didn't want to leave his team, but with his health and mana, just didn't have a lot to contribute that fight, and ended up being kind of the first man to go down. I think it might have been worth for while ReGen Red was stepped back, for a Nubarak to birth back to base, fill up, and be ready and raring to go for the re-engage.
Yeah. I think that fight could have gone very differently had he had the health and mana. Diving in onto the point for that healing camp, but a big ring coming out from Jaina, and we see the Riptire again, and there goes the Nubarak once more. Jaina getting away with, unfortunately, no kills.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a miscommunication, because Raynor was nowhere to be found in that. He was taking the bottom turret, so Calculated Throw actually made a decision to take a 5v4 without level 16s. I wonder if that was a snafu in comms, or that's just they thought, you know what, let's grab one of these guys real quick and blow him up with the ring.
Yeah, I'm not sure. A Nubarak diving in on that point by himself. Team was in the general area, but not super close. So I don't know if, like you said, that was a miscommunication or they tried to take an opportunity as they saw it, but definitely didn't work out quite the way that Calculated Throw had planned, I think.
So a biotic emitter and a turret for the side of ReGen Red, a single turret for the side of Calculated Throw, and both teams will have 16s on board for Born's very favorite objective in all of Heroes of the Storm.
And Calculated Throw missing that bottom well while ReGen still has theirs. So that's going to be a huge advantage on their side.
And that is a great pick.
Yeah, that was... might just be help them get back some of that momentum. They the 7-sided strike going out onto Leoric. That was, oh, and possibly another pick as well, trying to slow up the Thrall there. The ring misses, and even with Earthquake down, he falls. ReGen, or Calculated Throw, excuse me, falling down pretty low, but still, oh, Arthas falls as well. And it looks like Calculated Throw is gonna say, cut our losses and back out for now, although that fight did go in their favor. 3 kills, 2-1.
Yeah, that really started off with the Scooties, as I'm going to call them, on the same page. Because the first wave of CC came from a Nubarak, forced out the Wraithwalk from Leoric. And once that was out, it was Arthas throwing down the Howling Blast to lock him down, locked him into the 7-sided strike. And then on the back of that, ReGen Red made what I think was probably their first decision that they would regret this whole game. They kind of hung around that lane rather than simply backing up and waiting for Leoric to come back, and ended up losing 2 more heroes for only 1, as well as, I believe, all of their items.
Control the terminal and bring in the protector.
Oh. They still have, looks like, the healing kit.
And they just grabbed a turret right now. So they still have a biotic emitter and 1 turret, and are very close to level 20 advantage. I really want to see Calculated Throw step hard into this before 20 comes up, but it may already be too late.
Yep, but I think this is their big chance here before, like you said, those 20s hit. If they can get just 1 pick here, it could be what they need to get their first objective of the game. Oh, we see Tomb and Ring. Oh, the Riptire going out as well, and Earthquake. All the ultimates, like I said, everybody's trying to push buttons to win, and Leoric falling really low, knocked back by those Junkrat mines, and is the first to fall. Grievant really low as well, dropping his turret. Mystic and Mona escaping for the moment. It looks like a Nubarak was able to get out of there too, but that means that they are down. Calculated Throw is down 2 people, and ReGen Red is going to take that 3rd point for themselves.
That, I think, was maybe the longest exchange of 2 teams just brawling where nobody died. That was a good 15 to 20 seconds with really a lot of cooldowns used, and both sides survived for a really long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, almost every ultimate from both teams.
Yeah, I think
used in that fight.
Maybe not Hyperion, because that seems to be up right now. But there is the Buried
not...
Alive onto a Nubarak, and he is gone. The level 20 power spike from Leoric is real. Mystic is in trouble. Ghost Walk slowed. He is able to use the Ice Block, but it won't matter. ReGen Red has their eyes on Game 1 Born, and thank you to Murda for the raid, and welcome to our new viewers catching the last bits here, looking like of Game 1 versus ReGen Red, Calculated Throw, Division C East.
Yep. There's the Hyperion now. Calculated Throw using that to try and defend against the robot threatening their core. Still waiting on 2 members to come back up, and unfortunately Karazim falls. So that puts them on a little bit of a respawn roulette here.
Buried Alive, that's going to be
Buried
it.
Alive. Yep. 1 more falling to the Buried Alive, and for right now, Raynor is going to be the only defense as ReGen Red moves in on Calculated Throw's core.
Upset alert, Born. Calculated Throw, for the first time in NGS Season 6, has dropped a map.
Losing their first map. I mean, you don't want to see it, but it has to happen to all of us at some point, unfortunately.
Yeah, and after what was, I know, a disappointing Week 1 for ReGen Red, boy, are they looking like a new team. It honestly doesn't look like the same guys. Last week, they were so good. This game was as clean as I've seen them play this season. Other than that little hiccup mid lane, they controlled this game cover to cover.
Mm-hmm. They absolutely. Like you said, they those couple first losses must have been just the motivation they needed. Sometimes it just takes a little bit for teams to find their stride, and they definitely seem to have found it. This was their game, like you said, just start to finish almost. They didn't lose an objective. I think they still had all their structures by the end of that match, so they looked fantastic here for sure.
Yeah, ReGen Red, this is a largely a new roster for them. So definitely takes a little bit of time for it to gel, but it seems to be clicking, and I'm really impressed with how clean how clean that first game was. And I think if you're calculated throw, maybe a little bit taken aback. That first loss might wake you up a little bit. So let's see if they've woken the dragon.
Yep. Sometimes, again, losing that first match can just be a little bit of a shock, but that can also be your wake up call and then your rallying cry for you to come back in game two. So hopefully that's all this is for calculated throw. A little bit of a hiccup, and they can come back strong in their second round.
So map number 2, calculated throw decided to take map pick rather than first pick, and they are going to take us to Infernal Shrines.
Infernal Shrines, one of my favorite maps, probably my favorite map.
Yeah, I think it's kind of developed into kind of the standard neutral kind of default multiplayer competitive map for heroes.
Yep. There's invite as we hop in game here. No, Infernal Shrines, like it's just a map I really enjoy playing on as a support main. I get to play a lot of Alex on this map. So I enjoy it. I enjoy the Punishers and the objective phase. So definitely would be my choice over Volskaya Foundry with that cursed point C and all its conveyor belts.
So a terrible segue here, but thanks to B-Train for the sub, and if you have not had a chance to watch B-Train cast, guy is an absolute machine, a pleasure to watch. Check him out. He's really, really good. At some point this season, I'm going to trick him into letting me cast with him, but he is really a blast to watch. If you haven't had a chance, definitely check out B-Train. Thanks for the sub, man.
I'm gonna second that. His casts are entertaining. His commentary is always on point, and I got to cast once with him a preseason scrim, and we had a lot of fun. So, like Mongo said, definitely go and check him out. You won't be disappointed.
All right, looks like we are very close to being ready here for game number 2. First pick for ReGen Red, as this will be calculated throws, choice of map, and Abishore, another sub. Thanks, guys. I don't think I've ever gotten 2 in one night. Everybody just made my night before. Thanks so much for the sub. I know, right? So we're just waiting for the R's from ReGen Red. There we are. Going to jump straight in to game number 2. Gonna jump straight in to game number 2. There we go.
Here we go. Yep. All right. I'll be interested to see if there are some more target bans this round, or if, like you said, they go for those more traditional bans. But Diablo didn't get picked at all that first game, so they might decide to say, hey, whatever, we'll let him through. Same with Orphea. No one didn't see her at all last game either, so teams might decide that they're not worth the bans right now.
Yeah, and one of the fun things about getting these game sets, best of 3s, is watching the kind of in-match meta develop. Are we going to see a targeted ban born? Was there something from either one of these sides that we saw in game 1 that the team captain is going to go, nah, no thanks, in game 2?
I mean, I think Zeratul ban. But if I'm calculated throw, I would be looking possibly at the Leoric. Landed some great entombs. They got some great picks, but maybe even that Junkrat, because again, like I said, Junkrat, the damage was there 100%. It was great. The rip tires were super effective in those team fights. So maybe one of those two I would look at if I were calculated throw.
And something we actually didn't touch on it, but those team fights, and there's the Ana ban. Actually, the way those fights were clumped up, the healing reduction was a problem, so that's a really good ban. She is really strong right now anyway. I mentioned in the first draft I was a little surprised she made it through. But Thrall in that game 1, as the two sides just kind of clashed into each other, the fights weren't surgical, they were very brawly. And that's kind of what Thrall excels in. He can self-heal on that, keep himself up. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Thrall a factor this game as Johanna banned by ReGen Red.
Yep, I'm not surprised on this map. She's great on the objectives to kind of plump up all the little shrine guys and get them ready for the DPS to knock out. So um, not surprising on ReGen Red's part if they're not going to take her this map to just get rid of her and say we don't want anyone having her.
And a little bit of a support choke coming out by Calculated Throw. Tyrande coming out. No Tyrande here in game 2.
Nope. I don't see her typically taken too much nowadays, but I guess Hunter's Mark on the Punisher on this map can be helpful in clearing, and the Owls for scouting, of course, as always.
Yeah, I mean, Srana's always so good in those compositions where you just want to stack the CC on somebody and blow them up. Lunar Flare, the Hunter's Mark.
Yep.
Didn't see it in game 1. I commented that it made it through the entire draft, but not so game 2. His first pick, Dibbles for ReGen Red.
Yep, strong on this map as well with all the fighting on the points. Plenty of walls for him to wall bang. So a good pick, I think, on the side of ReGen Red.
So let's see if Mystic gets on the Jaina. Nope, this time onto the Fire Mage instead. Kel'Thas and Scooterman back on Anubarak.
So we didn't get to see Kel'Thas last match, but he's going to make an appearance now. Useful in clearing the shrines. And again, if everyone's going to be clumped up on those objectives, bomb spread is going to be a very real danger. So ReGen, might have to make allowances for that.
Yeah, my team knows all about the bomb spread. We like to pass that thing around like a hot potato. Raynor and Lucio coming out from Repsychic there for ReGen Red. Speed boosted Dibbles can be pretty scary, but Raynor coming out instead for ReGen Red instead of a Calculated Throw this game.
Yep. There's the Leoric ban.
Yeah, that's a really solid. Leo is great on Shrines. Shui was a monster on him last game, especially post 20. Basically back-to-back Buried Alives to secure the map win, and not so much this game.
Yep. Again, like I said, I'm not surprised to see that the ban coming out. Interested to see what ReGen chooses for their final ban.
Sergeant Hammer.
Sergeant Hammer.
As we saw from the Nexus Edge plays of the week 1, Mystic on Sergeant Hammer.
Yep, definitely a target ban for sure, 100%. And Hammer can be oppressive on this map. If you set her up in the right spot and you have a good front line to defend her range on the objective, and in clearing everything, she can be hard to play against.
But there's the Rexar that was banned out in game 1. I think if a Calculated Throw was planning on picking the Hammer, it's next level mind games, because Kel'Thas is currently shown as Mystic. They're like, no, our Hammer player's playing Kel'Thas. Don't need to worry about it. But ReGen Red, they're not buying it. Cassia into Raynor is also a really good pick. It really nerfs a lot of what Raynor can do when it's a Cassia on the other.
Yeah, absolutely. The blinds and her armor while moving. I think that was a good counter pick to that. And we see the Junkrat again.
Blaze and Junkrat. So a big, and I mean big beefy frontline for ReGen with the Diablo Blaze. So what support is going to come out here for Calculated Throw, assuming they're not going to go something really bizarre and they're actually going to pick a support here? And it's Brightwing.
Brightwing. Okay, an interesting choice. I don't know that would have been my first choice, but and it looks like we do have a swap for Calculated Throw. Scooty Puff Jr. switching over to the Kel'Thas and Mystic taking over on Brightwing.
Yeah, I told you, the Mystic on Kel'Thas, it was a bluff. They really were targeting that Hammer. They didn't want to show.
I think you're right. I think they called it. But easily able to switch to that Rexar pick after Hammer. So it looks like Grievant will get to play his Rexar.
So I'm curious on the Blaze, who's used to be very, very top of the meta for the offlaners. Still around, but not quite at the same frequency that we saw him in the past. Although Calculator Throw hard winning the Portrait Synergy game here. Because poor Shui was late to the game and didn't change his portrait. Shame on you, Shui.
Ouch. I mean,
Ouch.
at least he has the Carbot portrait, because those are the best.
They are. But 5 Carbot Rexers wins the Portrait Synergy game.
It does, especially when you have Rexar on your team as part of your draft.
Also
so
true. It's like double
next level
Portrait Synergy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I started to say was, with Blaze, since the nerf to Bunker, we have seen Combustion pop up a little bit here and there. I wonder if it's going to be Combustion or the Summon Bunker.
I haven't seen too much Bunker lately, honestly. Every Blaze that I have seen playing lately has been going Combustion, so that's going to be my prediction personally. I think we're going to see Combustion here coming out from Blaze.
Kind of going on to that Kael'thas melee, who's not particularly mobile. All right, Calculated Throw, trying to recover from their first map loss of Season 6 in the Blue Trunks. Grevant on Rexar, Mystic on Brightwing, Monoderp on Cassia, Scooterman on Anubarak, and Scooty Puff Jr. on Kael'thas.
And on the red team, ReGen Red, we have Arrow on the Diablo, Carve on the Rainer, Shui on the Blaze, Zulkin on Junkrat, and Repsychic on Lucio. One of my favorite healers to play.
I have not played him very much, but when I played him just enough to get him to level 5, it was pretty fun.
Calculated Throw, playing it safe here again in the early game, not going in and saying we don't really want to get too crazy about this mid fight. Rexar and Misha already in top lane, doing what they do best.
Yep, being annoying in the solo lane. Blaze, played by Shui, will make his way up there to fight them 2v1, but ReGen Red very quick into their rotations. Anubarak eats a stun during the rotation just because, and ReGen Red back to the mid lane. Let's go check on the solos while the rotations are happening. Shui...
A little bit of damage up here.
Yeah, Shui's in trouble. He's taking a lot of free poke there.
Oh no, Misha! Misha fallen low too, though, and I always hate to see Misha die, but she looks like she's gonna make it out of there safely.
Misha always alive in our hearts.
And we have down in bot lane here. It looks like ReGen Red is going in on that bot camp to be the first to claim. Yep.
Yeah,
Calculated Throw not contesting.
Yeah, Anubarak and Cassie were kind of harassing, but with 2 showing in mid, ReGen Red had really nothing to fear there.
So an early camp for them.
And off to the side, remind me, I gotta say thank you to somebody who threw a bunch of subs in there. So Born, don't let me forget to do that as I'm trying to do this at the same time.
Yeah.
Alright, so ReGen Red, slight rotational advantage, up about, 15% of the level, I'm gonna say, but winning the Merc camp race, really prioritizing mid and bot lane Mercs.
Yep. Calculated Throw on their siege camp as well. Brightwing kind of hanging out mid so they don't lose Soak, but she is a global, can pop in wherever she's needed, so that's not too much of a problem. And it looks like ReGen Red is kind of scouting out a little bit here in mid, keeping an eye on what Calculated Throw is doing. But they don't go in on the camp, so both teams get their siege camps here in mid before this first objective.
Yeah, it looked like for about a half a second there that ReGen was thinking about the invade, but decided not to, and just kind of went back into lanes to get the soak, clear this out. Shui has rotated down. Rexar is on the top lane bruiser, so Nubarak gets initiated onto with 2 stuns, 1 from Blaze and Diablo each. Once Rexar finishes with that camp, though, Calculated Throw going to have a little bit of a macro advantage.
Yep, and that's one of the things Rexar is good at. He can take these camps by himself, leave his team to stall out an objective 4v5, and then come in to change the tide of both the objective and the macro by having a camp pushing in a lane that the other team now has to deal with.
So Rexar and Misha have finished. They are on their way. Anubarak taking a lot of free poke, and ReGen Red is losing this objective. They're down in macro. And the little shrine monkeys, but everybody taking a lot of damage. Arrow and Shui really bearing the brunt of it. A jet propulsion in by Shui. Arrow in trouble on the top side as Cassia is just shredding him. Lucio trying to get him out, and he will not survive. The living bomb is able to finish Diablo. First objective will go over to calculated throw.
Yep. Speedy Puff Jr. getting low, having to back out here, leaving his team to hopefully finish up this objective and cap that very first one. And it looks like calculated throw does secure the first Punisher of this match.
Alright, so John Cena, the frozen version, marching mid lane. He will jump over this wall directly onto Diablo, and the defense of the mid lane will begin.
Guterman getting popped over that wall by the Junkrat mine, but it looks like he did have his burrow up, so he is able to make it out of there safely.
Yeah, definitely a savvy play there by Zolkin on the Junkrat, but burrow charge to safety. Blaze and Rex Armisha still dueling in the top. Poor Shui having to deal with both, not having a great time of it.
And ReGen Red rotating down to the bot lane again. I'm wondering if they have their eye on that bot camp since it is up again. But calculated throw falling down as well. Teams are 3v3 here for now as Brightwing and Junkrat remain mid.
Yeah, they're really having a hard time. They ReGen Red with that Kael'thas, the living bombs and the spread. That was a great adjustment, I think, for calculated throw with how brawly and clumped up the battles were, those team fights were in that first game. The living bomb and the AoE damage on the Kael'thas may have just looked too juicy to pass up, turning from the Jaina to the Kael'thas instead.
Yeah, I mean, Kael'thas is a strong pick on most maps right now, and I think he was a good choice to take on this one. I actually like him better on this map than Jaina for sure. And the bomb value against most teams is very real.
I think, Born, both of these teams will be at level 10 before the next objective. Calculated throw certainly will be. ReGen Red will be close, if nothing else, and ReGen Red needs to be very careful here, as level 10s are going to come online. They don't want to overstay this, and there they are.
Yep. If I'm ReGen Red, I'm seeing that 10 pop for calculated throw, and I'm going to say, all right, let's back out for a little bit, safely soak, get level 10s ourselves, and then we can go back in and engage on even talent tiers.
So it is going to be Emerald Wind, Phoenix, Cocoon. Needless to say, I don't know Misha's icons yet. Bestial Wrath and Valkyrie, as seen there on Diablo, but not the target that you want. Arrow does look like he's going to get away. That is a pretty beefy boy.
Yeah. I mean, Diablo is almost at his 100 souls by this point in the game, so yeah, like I said, not the best target. He is able to walk out of there, and that is, I believe, all the ultimates used on the side of calculated throw.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to mention the same thing. Dibbles is too far, though. Misha gets her claws on him. The follow-up from a noob, unable to finish him. So calculated throw basically traded all of their heroics for the bottom fort. All of the heroics for ReGen Red will be available. That's going to be Sound Barrier, APOC, Hyperion, Riptire, and Combustion.
Combustion, like I said, I'm not surprised to see that as the choice for Blaze.
Alright, here we go. Second objective clash has begun. Misha flanking from the top, catches both tanks. Arrow taking a lot of damage. Oh my goodness, Sound Barrier comes out. APOC is going to catch nobody because the Brightwing Emerald Wind actually split them away. There's the Riptire, there's the Combustion. Calculated throw is being forced back. Arrow barely staying alive. Misha the first to go down. Members of ReGen Red slow. Shui showing no fear with a double jet propulsion onto Brightwing and a Nubarak, but they get away. So far, the only casualty has been Misha.
Rip Misha. Both teams a little low on health here. I'm surprised, like I said, we didn't see any deaths there aside from Misha, but a little bit of an advantage to ReGen Red with the Shrine Monkeys. Scooterman and Nubarak going in, trying to chase them out, and Raynor is going to be the first one to fall after Misha on that shrine.
Dibbles is able to limp away to safety, but with 36, I think Junkrat's going to try to lob some grenades in there and finish him off. It's going to be close, and they get it. Valkyrie actually missing. Monaderp was doing what she could to keep Junkrat away, but he is able to actually snake those last 4 Shrine Monkeys and secure the Mortar Punisher. A big, big break there for ReGen Red.
Yeah, that was huge because Calculated Throw was catching up. I think at last I saw they had 34 right there at the end, so that was a close finish for sure. But ReGen Red choosing not to push with their Punisher, instead splitting away 2 other lanes and letting Calculated Throw clear that fairly quickly. Both towers and walls still intact. Yeah,
with Raynor just spawning as the John Cena appeared for the side of ReGen Red. The securing of the Punisher was basically a denial. They really weren't going to get any value out of it. It just kept the value from going over to Calculated Throw. And they have invaded the top Bruiser camp. Very aggressive play from ReGen Red. They know that Calculated Throw is all the way on the bottom side of the map. Brightwing's kind of isolated. I'm curious if they're going to try to make a play on the Brightwing here. No.
Yeah, looks like they are going to back out of there safely. Brightwing going to try and attempt to start cleaning up that top Bruiser camp. That was a little aggressive, like you said, from ReGen Red, but clearly it paid off. You know, they capped that just as 13s came out for Calculated Throw, and they were able to get out of there safely back to mid.
So Scooterman does get Concussion Mine in again. Burrow charges away. Calculated Throw prioritizing the healing camp in the mid lane. They do get it down as well as taking the siege. No! Aggressive invade from ReGen. Now Misha and Rexar are not here. They are contesting this objective hard. The Concussion Mine goes out. Scooterman Burrow charges back in, but that may have been a mistake as he is the first to fall. Cassia walking through the sludge from Blaze, and then the flamethrower puts her down. 2 for none. ReGen Red showing great awareness with Rexar and Misha not being available and engaging hard into that mercenary camp, Born.
I think that was the right move on their part, and Calculated Throw, it seemed like they stayed around a little too long. Anubrak diving back in that last time when he was so low on health kind of threw the end of the fight out of whack there, and ReGen Red was able to take that camp, keep their camp rather, and Calculated Throw, like you said, limping away with 2 deaths on the books from that one.
Yeah, and that was really Arrow there leading the charge with a huge shadow charge and a massive APOC on the back of it, really setting up that engage. Great plays coming out there by Arrow as we have a running, fighting disengage from ReGen Red, but this is what Lucio does so well. A 2 to 3 man combustion, but Shui might be caught in trouble, passing the bomb back and forth. Valkyrie catches them, but does not hold them in place. Arrow going down.
Yep. Body blocked into that little corridor there. I think the cocoon was used on the Junkrat, if I'm not mistaken. So no damage there to come out from him to try and help. And looks like Diablo is already back up though. He will now not have any souls for this objective.
But he will be here, so they don't have to wait out his death timer. Arrow going to have to play a little more conservative, a little more passive to account for the lack of durability, although no conservative there as he YOLOs straight in onto Nubrak. The minimal value though out of Apocalypse, and the re-engage by Calculated Throw. ReGen Red in trouble.
Yep, and 2 members of ReGen Red are down. Hyperion is out, but unable to secure any kills onto Calculated Throw. So right now, Calculated Throw is going to take control of this shrine. They are ahead in Shrine Monkeys, almost to the necessary 40. And ReGen Red is going to have to back out and just defend this Punisher.
Yeah, this is something that tank players need to do when they're on the Diablo is kind of adjust your cadence of play and the aggression of play based on how many souls you have. When you're at 100 souls and you have all your talents and you kind of charge in as Diablo, you feel pretty close to invincible. But when they do finally bring you down and you don't have any of those souls, you really have to adjust, because He's just not as tanky. He's significantly more vulnerable, as we saw there when Arrow went in that last team fight.
Yeah, he's, I don't want to say squishy, but fairly easy to blow up without his souls as long as you focus properly. Raynor getting caught by the Valkyrie there, but able to make it out alive. So all members of ReGen Red are still up to defend here. Punisher just about done, but it looks like the throw is going to be able to take mid keep. It falls, and that is the first keep of the game for them.
They're trying to get to Kael'thas, but they couldn't quite reach him, and now Diablo getting chunked out again. Monoderp, a pest on that Cassia. The tanks for ReGen Red are pretty low. I don't think ReGen wants this. They really want to back up, and they do, allowing Calculated Throw to disengage.
Yeah. And I think that was the right move on Calculated Throw's part, too. You don't want to push in there too far. 20s aren't out yet. You know, you had just gotten that keep. I think playing a little bit of a slow game here, backing out, looking to get that next objective was the right call on both teams' parts.
So a little bit of a mirror image of Game 1 here to Game 2. Game 1 was ReGen's to control, and other than a brief hiccup in the mid lane, they did control it most of the way. And here in Game 2, it's kind of been the others. Calculated Throw is controlled mostly, other than that hiccup on the mercenary camp. It's really been their game cover to cover here for Calculated Throw.
Yep. Like I mentioned before, that lost Game 1 may have just been all they needed, a little bit of a jolt, and they're back on track here, it seems. Rotating to the top to try and open up that top lane, and it looks like they are going to be able to get that top fort without any sort of defense from ReGen Red. They're just going to let them have it. That camp is still pushing, and they are going to back out here and continue their quest for 20s.
So a huge, huge structural advantage for Calculated Throw. They have the, probably my least favorite term in this game, the occasional catapults in the top and the bottom lane, and the full-time catapults here in the mid lane going to be pushing against the structures of ReGen Red. No forts or keeps taken out for the side of Calculated Throw, so they're really sitting pretty on all of their buildings, all of their structures, all of their defenses still standing. ReGen Red is going to have to win some objectives and some team fights here to really make a play at ending this game.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think you're right there. They're going to have to play a little carefully too as well, because Calculated Throw is going to hit 20s before they do, although I'm not sure they're going to get it before this objective pops. So they might still be able to go in right away on the objective before the 20s hit for Calculated Throw and try and get the advantage. If they can get a pick or two, that might be just what they need to make this a comeback.
And here comes the pick or two, as Calculated Throw may have overextended. The insta-cocoon on the Junkrat to try to get away. The Sludge is holding a Nubrak there. There's the combustion, instantly interrupted. And Misha coming in to stun again. There's the jet propulsion. They do catch Kael'thas in at just the end, but Shui taking a lot of damage from the Phoenix, forced to withdraw. And here we go. Down goes Blaze. Dibbles to follow. And I think this is going to be the beginning of the end for ReGen Red, as Carve caught in the Valkyrie. And there he goes. I think this is going to be the victory marks here for Calculated Throw. It's just going to be a matter of them rotating to mid and finishing. I would think the camp is here, the minions are here. All they need to do is go mid.
I don't know. It looks like Rexar and Brightwing still hanging out on objective. That camp pushing in mid a little bit with some catapults. And Beauty Puff Jr., Kael'thas is going in to help out with that.
Yeah, a little
looks
bit
like
of
the rest of
split calling here from Calculated
Yeah.
Throw. Some on the objective, some on the keep, one of them on the core. I think they probably could have pretty easily ended. Look at, there's 3 Catas here plus the Merc. If they would have just 5-banned on core with 30-second death timers, they could have gotten it. However, neither here nor there. Here comes the Frozen Punisher. There will be no keep here to defend it, so this is going to be the Alamo for ReGen Red. The last-ditch defense effort as Scooty Puff Jr. eats a concussion mine, instantly Burrow charges away. Here we go.
Here comes John Cena, another frozen Punisher, instantly jumping on the Diablo, and he is going to get blown up once again. APOC makes the catch rather, but ReGen not able to capitalize and calculated. Rainer falls, Mystic getting low, but able to survive through that damage. But the Punisher is just wailing away on the core, and it looks like game 2 goes to calculated throw.
So a little bit of a flex there by calculated throw in that game too, and the ending in particular, they really put the exclamation point on that there at the end. Whew. So we're going to game 3.
This will be my first 3-game series that I have casted. All my others were 2-0s, so I'm excited for this.
You know, the it's on a 1-minute delay, right? And so it's funny seeing the chat go right. Why aren't they ending? Nobody's ending. Why aren't they marching to the core?
we had the same questions, chat. But I mean, worked out. Calculated throw secures the win regardless. In a much better looking game 2.
Yeah. So here we go to game 3. ReGen Red has to make a choice between map pick or first pick, and it looks like they have taken map pick, and they are taking us to move the Spider Queen.
The Spider Queen. All right, all 3-lane maps tonight. But I think we only have one two-lane map in rotation in NGS anyway, for that matter. Now that I'm saying that.
Yeah, only Battlefield. All right. Real quick, though, we're going to take about a 60-second breather, but we'll be right back. All right, we are back for game 3 between Calculated Throw and ReGen Red. 2 games where one side controlled each one. Game 1, ReGen Red looked sharp, controlled throughout. Game 2, Calculated Throw, same thing. What do we expect here in game 3?
I'm expecting a close matchup between both of these teams. Like you said, one team has controlled each game so far. We have seen a lot of like mirror map activity from them. They seem to be similar on camp timings and things like that. So I'm looking forward to them putting on a good show here and us seeing a close matchup.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised to possibly see a long game. Sometimes on I'm sorry, not Infernal Shrines. Tomb of the Spider Queen. It can be one of those maps where there's not a definitive win condition. The teams can sometimes struggle to put the games away. So if these two teams just kind of beat up on each other, this is one of the maps that can run long sometimes. So we'll see if that happens.
Yep. We are heading to Tomb of the Spider Queen. Here we go. I will flip your own question back at you. Do you think there are going to be any target bans on the side of Regen Red on any of the heroes they saw Calculated Throw play last game?
Well, I think, maybe Rexar. I mean, that was an issue, and they did ban him game one. So maybe they returned to banning out the Rexar Misha combination.
They learned their lesson game 2, and they're just not going to let him even be an option anymore.
Yeah, that very very well could happen. So first ban here coming out by Calculated Throw. Going to be Anna. Not letting Anna come back in. I totally understand that. She was 100% a factor in game number 1.
Yep. Smart choice there. Despite her changes, the slight nerfs I think to her Q, the W build is now so strong that she hasn't seemed to have left her place in the meta at all.
And sticking with that Zeratul ban, we will not see Zeratul played tonight, Born.
No Zeratul, and I know there's at least 1 or 2 people on Calculated Throw that plays Zeratul. If I remember correctly, Mona Derp does, so.
Ron banned out one more time. Yeah, and I really understand that Zera ban. When you get that hero on a skilled player, very powerful, and the VP sets up so many different things.
Absolutely. And if that's something your team isn't equipped to handle or doesn't want to deal with, then that's a good one to get off the table. Absolutely.
Now here's where the adjustment's going to be if Regen Red is going to make it, and no, they're going to stick with the Johanna, who is very strong on Tomb. She's probably the best rotational tank as far as clear and move on with your life. That's what Johanna does best.
I'm wondering if Calculated Throw is going to take Diablo here. If they're going to let, right? They might be letting Diablo go to Regen Red as they prioritize that Kael'thas again, which he's again another strong hero on this map. I think that was a good choice. So I'll be interested to see here if Regen decides to take that Diablo once more, because this is a good map for him with the smaller map and the tight quarters on objective, the turn-in points.
Instead, they're going to go with a Garrosh and a Jaina.
Okay.
So a blow-up combination there. Also, Garrosh struggles into Jaina. Not that Calculated Throw would go Jaina Kael'thas. That would be pretty unlikely. But I always like seeing those two heroes picked together because they go well together. And Garrosh into Jaina is fairly tough.
A Nubarak again for Calculated Throw, and Mona Derp taking Greymane.
I assume that's for the Cursed Bullet on the Garrosh to chunk him down.
That would be my assumption as well.
I was waiting for you. I think you were waiting for me.
Yeah, Calculated Throw are gonna have to be careful on their rotations here with the Garrosh and the Jaina blow up. As predicted, as you said, the Rexar ban. They've decided they don't want to deal with that again this game. So Grievant, I'm sorry, you don't get to play Rexar.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lucio ban here, Born. The speed with the Garrosh, especially when you have combined with the Jaina slow, can really let Garrosh get up onto people. They did play Lucio last game, so we know it's in their toolbox. But instead, Malfurion, and that of course makes sense too. The root follow-up for the toss. But let's see where Regen Red goes with their next 2 picks.
Still waiting on them both teams actually, to pick a healer with a little bit of a support choke here. Still plenty of options on the table, but waiting to see what they choose on this map. Lucio again, and Maiev.
Very aggressive comp for ReGen Red there. Other than Jaina, a little light on the wave clear for now. Let's see who Shui takes. Maybe back into Leoric again at the bottom of this draft, unless Calculated Throw takes it here.
Leoric is a good solo laner on this map. Grievin, white main, and Mystic on the Artanis. So leaving Leoric on the table for Shui. We'll see if that's what he decides, or if he picks Blaze again.
Yeah, I could also see like an Arthas is really good into Artanis. The Artanis selection is interesting to me. I'm curious what Calculated Throw has in mind for that one. Leoric gonna be back on Star-Lord Leoric. It's unfortunate that he's not using the correct skin, which is of course Janitor Leoric skin, but we'll forgive him.
Yep. That is, I think, one of the best skins in the game. I don't even play Leoric, but
hands down.
I made sure I had one of those skins in my collection.
Yeah, hands down. And last year at BlizzCon, probably the loudest cheer I heard was for Janitor.
I love it. Gotta love it.
It was so good. All right, so Tomb of the Spider Queen. Game number 3. Regardless, both teams going home today with at least 1 point. And regardless, ReGen Red can take home bragging rights as they were the first team to crack the armor of Calculated Throw. But even better than taking 1 game off them would be taking 2. Obvious statements of the cast.
Yep. Like I said, this will be an exciting one for sure. First one for me to get to game 3, and a good one for both of these teams. Like you said, ReGen Red coming back from some losses, and Calculated Throw trying to hold on to their wins. So here we are.
So Calculated Throw trying to avoid their first match loss of Season 6. Scooterman on Anubarak, Scooty Puff Jr. on Kael'thas, Brevant on White Mane, Monitor on Grey Mane, and Mystic on Kael'thas.
And on ReGen Red, we have Shui on the Leoric, Zulkin on the Maiev, Carve on Jaina, Arrow on Garrosh, and Repsychic on Lucio once again.
3, 2, 1. Let the battle begin.
Mystic riding the hype train there in chat. All right, I'm excited to see how this one goes, and hopefully after the game, depending on who is victorious here, we will either get Repsychic or Mystic in for a little chat with us. Zulkin looking for that big flank on the Maiev, trying to get a big tether, and there he does, gets it onto Anub and Artanis. There's the toss onto Anubarak, who is once again able to burrow charge out. The swap onto Zulkin, he is in trouble. Vault of the Wardens is already down, as is Maiev. So we can see what ReGen Red was trying to do. They're trying to do the pull, the Emerald Bind into the Garrosh, toss back. They did execute it there, but Anubarak probably not the target that you want because of the burrow charge.
Yep, same thing we saw with the Junkrat mines last game. He kept getting bumped over those walls, but was able to burrow right on out of there. So ReGen gonna have to try and get a different target moving forward here. Oh, and the swap goes out onto Garrosh. Arrow falling low, getting stunned by the Anubarak, and looks like he is going to make it out of there alive.
Yeah, Garrosh with his armor is almost like just always a bait. He always looks so juicy, but you can never quite finish him off. Off camera, Greymane is taking this bottom camp for the side of Calculated Throw. However, Leo kind of feinted a rotation down there, and Monoderp thought something smelled funny and actually went off that camp, rotating straight back into lane, making sure he does not miss any soak.
So I'll be interested to see if Calculated Throw is able to go back and finish off that bot camp, or if it's going to be left for ReGen to take for themselves.
There's the
Looks
toss.
like-
There's the stun on a Nubrak once again. He burrows out once again.
Again. Burrows right on out of there, and it looks like in bot lane, Mona does get the siege giants.
They kind of
Is
put
able
that
to capitalize.
put the first giant in the bank and come back for it later.
Bombs going out from Kael'thas onto Garrosh, but wisely moving away from the rest of his team so as not to spread that. Hopefully my team is watching and taking note.
Yeah, one of whenever there's a Kael'thas on the other team, what you hear from us, 100% more than anything else, on comms is bomb, 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 bomb on me, bomb on me.
I usually end up a little more frantic than that. Get away from me! Get away from me!
So a turn in denial there for calculated throw, not letting Arrow get those in. Stun coming out from a Nubarak. Arrow this time, but it's almost like Scooterman is daring him to throw him, and Arrow is not doing it.
Yep.
Like, no, I learned. I will not throw a Nubarak anymore. Ult of the Wardens keeping Zulkin up in the bottom as the rest of ReGen Red is now rotating. Except for
Garrosh
Arrow in the
waiting.
bush. Now he throws him, but the other direction. He saved him the trouble of a burrow charge.
Scooterman pushing in a little bit just to kind of scout out where ReGen is. Looking at the are potentially going to be able to turn in. Yep, able to turn in some of their gems there
So we might
without
see,
any interrupts.
we might see this action starting to ramp up now as both sides do have enough gems for turn-in. Zulkin was able to get the Umbral Bind onto Mystic, but the follow-up wasn't there. It looks like 23 gems going in for the side of Calculated Throw. ReGen got in a number of gems on the top, but if Scooty Puff Jr. finishes this, they're going to be very, very close to turn-in either side now, looking to get it in. Scooterman now coming in, Psychic scouts it out, able to boop him away. Now ReGen Red moving in to not allow that. However, Arrow may have spitten off a little more than he can chew, really getting chunked out, but Garrosh is so durable that he is still alive. Swap misses. ReGen Red will be withdrawing to their base to tap, but still no turn-in for either side.
Might have able to poke a little bit, keep Mystic from turning his gems in, but it looks like Calculated Throw is going to get that first objective. They were successful in chasing out that last little bit of damage from ReGen, so they will get the first round of Web Weavers.
So level 7 to level 7, 1 kill to none. Both teams looking good. However, Mona Derp has been caught, has been tethered, has been thrown, has been killed.
So level 7s on both sides and 1 kill to each side.
So a nice rotational pick there by ReGen Red, catching Mona Derp in no man's land. Now Whitemane might be in trouble. There's the throw, the stun, the blizzard. Revenant on Whitemane is in trouble, not dead yet. Very close to Lucio in hot pursuit, and it's Jaina who actually lands the killing blow. So ReGen Red starting to show a little aggression here, getting a couple of quick kills, and now turning their attention on the Web Weavers.
And that's what their comp was made for, was getting these picks. And if they can isolate a target without a Nubarak getting in the way and getting thrown instead, then it's going to be pretty easy to take down a Greymane or a Kael'thas.
So definitely not what Calculated Throw wanted. They got the turn-in, and at the end of it, they're actually lower XP advantage than they were before. Nice job by Scooterman. He is really keeping great track of Garrosh. He was forced to throw him. You can see Scooterman just really hugging him. Clem's coming out as this time they're able to put some secondary CC on him. Stun goes out again. Still nobody going down, and now looks like ReGen Red looking to disengage.
Yep, they're going to have 10s here at about another half level ahead of Calculated Throw. But it looks like they are, like I said, choosing to back out here. They're not going to push this fight. Probably going to go soak, try and get some gems turned in, maybe top, and see if they can secure these 10s before they get their first Web Weavers.
Yeah, that's really what you want to do if you're ReGen Red. You want to get turn-in and 10 as close to each other as you can. So hopefully for the first part of the Web Weaver phase. Maybe you have the heroic advantage, and now they do. Warlord's Challenge, Warden's Cage, Sound Barrier, Ring of Frost, and Shui on and 2. Mystic caught out on Kael'thas. There is no way he gets out of that.
Nope.
Down goes Kael'thas. Ring of Frost probably unnecessary, as poor Kael'thas was already dead at that point.
Yep, the throw into the taunt there with the blizzard from Jaina, that was just the instant blow up, and that's what we were talking about earlier. Jaina and Garrosh pair so well together. Those picks are huge.
Yeah, and Scooterman, when he's been around his team, when Calculated Throw has been together, he's been doing such a great job at really attaching himself to the hip of Garrosh, making sure he cannot get on anybody else. But the couple of times that ReGen Red has managed to find heroes when Scooterman is not around, that's when they've gotten those kills in the rotation. See, like now, right here, there's the catch onto the Artanis. No follow-up damage, unfortunately. Arrow going really deep. Sound Barrier able to keep him up for now. The 4-man taunt onto all of the Jaina damage, but Zolkin is going to not go down. 100 health, able to get away. Swap just misses on the carve. So a 1 for nothing. As heroics come online for Calculated Throw, it's going to be a Phoenix for Kael'thas. Purifier Beam, yeah, Purifier Beam for Artanis, Cursed Bullet for Greymane, Cocoon, and is that Aegis? Yes, it is. Or Whitemane.
But it looks like, I mean, even that team fight was enough of a distraction that ReGen Red's going to get some value from their Web Weavers here. They don't take a structure, but both the bot and mid forts are about half health, and Calculated Throw is now missing wells in both those lanes.
Yeah, and you know, in games 1 and 2, we're really controlled by one team or the other. Game 3 has not. It's really been a little bit of a back and forth. There's the Scooterman. Arrow now throwing Scooterman the other direction. He's just tired of the burrow charge. But really a back and forth as Kael'thas is actually caught in a tether. Nice cleanse by Grevin there to get Mystic out of trouble. And here we go. The taunt, the swap. Arrow is in trouble. The Sound Barrier perfectly timed, but Jaina is cocooned, so she's not there for her damage, but now she is up. The question is, can she get in position to finally drop her cooldown? She is trying, but unable to do so. Surprisingly, ReGen Red able to get away. No harm done. If they continue to cocoon Jaina, there is no damage to follow up on all of these CCs and these entombed. Maiev went in deep and paid for it.
Go deep, yep. And the ring we do see coming down now, so it might be Calculated Throw's turn to pay here, as Speedpuff Jr. getting really low, but it is going to be Garrosh and then Leoric that fall here. Calculated Throw still able to remain alive, and it looks like they are going to be able to turn in their gems.
It looked like for a second there that ReGen Red was going to turn that fight, but all of Jaina's cooldowns went down to chunk out Calculated Throw. There was no damage to finish off the kills. Calculated Throw able to hang in there, turn the team fight 3 for none, get turn-in on the back of that. Now they're looking to take control of this game, laying siege to the top fort. No real answer from ReGen right now, as they have heroes in middle and bottom clearing out those Web Weavers.
And there's the first structure taken for a Calculated Throw. They take out that that top fort there, which most teams do choose to prioritize top lane because of the boss. So they are going to have that advantage should they choose to take that later in the game.
Yeah, we touched on it briefly when we were talking about the maps. Is Tomb doesn't have great win conditions, so the best win condition really is the boss. That's why you prioritize the top lane. Garrosh is going to go down or not. Sound Barrier keeps him up. Ring of Frost catches 2. Scarlet Aegis goes out. They are able to uncocoon the Maiev, however. Arrow currently eating Living Bomb, and he is down to less than 20 hit points, but does live. But that will probably spell the end of this top keep for ReGen Red. Entomb goes down. There's really no damage to follow up on it. Poor Shui fighting, doing everything they can to keep up this keep, and it is still up. Zoltan, multiple Wardens, does get away. There it goes. Keep goes down, but they have caught Monoderp. Even if Monoderp goes down, that is going to be worth the trade, and he does. So they trade Monoderp for top keep. Favorable trade for Calculated Throw.
Oh, but ReGen's still chasing here. It looks like they're going to catch out Scooterman and pull Grievant and Mystic both into that Warden's Cage. And all 3 fall to ReGen Red.
Somebody clipped that for Zulkin. That was a hell of a play. The Warden's Cage, Umbral Bind, double Umbral Bind to finish that and allow ReGen Red to secure boss and turn-in. So right when it looked like Calculated Throw was going to take control of this game, they got the Greymane and then the great play by Zulkin to catch Kael'thas and a Nubarak and Whitemane as well, I believe. So fantastic turn there by ReGen Red. They're very close to level 16s. They have Web Weavers and Boss, and they're looking good, Born.
Yeah, that one fight just made the entire difference. Like you said, it was looking like Calculated Throw was going to be pressing their advantage. They got the first keep of the game, but then ReGen made the smart decision. They chased a little bit, and it paid off. Team Wipe snagged the boss, and then they've got everything on their side now.
Now, they did catch Mystic on the backside in the Entomb. The damage is not quite there to be able to finish him off, or is it? Kael'thas goes down. Zulkin on Maiev and Shui on Leoric really YOLO'd onto him. Now Grevent is going to go down as well. Maybe Monadirk. No, Monadirk able to escape this time, but ReGen Red, they're smelling blood in the water. They're really on the warpath right now. Scooty Puff Jr. is in trouble. There he's taunted into the boss stun. Down goes Artanis. Are they eyeing game, Born?
They have I think so. Like they still have a 3/4 health boss. They've still got Web Weavers pushing with them. Calculated Throw still down 3 people, and Mona and Scooter very low, but looks like ReGen is going to be pushing in here. The throw onto Scooter Man this time. No follow-up damage, but Greymane does fall. ReGen's starting to focus that core. Boss only now falling to about 1/3 of its health. Still wailing away. Zulkin gonna fall, but if the rest of ReGen Red can keep this up, they're gonna secure themselves the 3rd game here.
Yeah, the Winions came in and really launched the siege assault there. ReGen Red turning a re-engage into a game-winning drive, a match-winning drive. The first team to drop Calculated Throw in Season 6. And they looked really strong doing it, really composed. Even in Game 2, where Calculated Throw was really controlling the game, it never felt like they were overreacting to things or doing things they shouldn't be doing. I'm going to say poise was really the kind of word of the night for ReGen Red. They played with a lot of poise.
They did. They were patient, especially in that 3rd game there. They didn't rush anything. They took an opportunity when they saw it. They made smart choices, but they didn't try to force anything. And it paid off for them 100%, just when things were maybe starting to look like they were swinging over in Calculated Throw's favor.
All right. Jason already nicely put that in highlights for us. Thank you, Jason. Let's see if we can get Repsychic in here for a few minutes to chat. And then we will throw it over to Murda, who had a 7:30 cast. So you guys should be just in time for that one. I believe that is also Div C. I'll check on exactly which game is Murda's got over there in a moment. All right, so we are going to have Repsychic join us. Oops, spell his name correct. You there, Repsychic?
Hello, you there?
I am. What's going on, bud? Congratulations. That was a fun set. You guys got to topple the Giants tonight, taking out undefeated Calculated Throw. How you guys feeling?
Pretty much just another day, honestly. That's kind of ReGen's claim to fame. ReGen Red's claim to fame is topple Giants, but then Achilles heel. So.
So game 1, you guys kind of controlled throughout. Game 2, vice versa. What was the talk like going into game 3? Was there something you guys wanted to target or adjust? What were you guys chatting about after that second game?
So mostly what we realized was we were kind of half of our team was playing a different game, right? Like some of us were playing dive and some of us were playing very sustainy, let's just hold this kind of game, you know? But yeah, so after that game, we kind of decided, well, we can't split 50-50 with, Diablo going in and us all staying behind. We gotta, we've gotta really focus down on doing what we do best, and I think that's just keeping our cool and playing our game basically.
Two last questions from me, then I'll throw you to Born. On the
Sure.
re-engage from Zulkin in the top lane, who was making that call? Was that him playing the Maiev saying that he knew he had the play, or was that somebody else yelling at him to get in there?
Oh no, that was all him. He saw it and he dove in and he wanted it. It was 100% him on that one. He's a solid player. I trust everything that he does, so he doesn't even need to say it. I'll see him do something and I'll just follow up. That's what I do.
That's a perfect segue into my follow-up question. Newish squad you guys put together between the season, a couple returning faces, but a couple new faces as well. How's everyone gelling together? You look good today.
We all enjoy each other's presence, I would say, unless I'm pretty sure Shui hates my guts, but that's okay. Aside from that, we're pretty solid. We get along just fine, just as always. I'd say we jive well. No real issues.
Born, to you.
You kind of stole my question there, talking about that re-engage in game 3, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit more for me and tell me like what was going through your minds. Calculated throw is pushing in. They just took your top keep. What did you guys decide to chase? I mean, a lot of teams maybe wouldn't have made that choice, would have stayed back, tried to clean up. What was going through your minds?
As soon as we saw that the keep went down, because it was a very we were very kind of split. Garrosh had to leave. He was at I don't even know how much health he was at.
Less than 20. Less than
20.
It was less than 20. Well, that's great. And I guess it was those 2 seconds of Lucio heals. Anyway, no, as soon as we saw that they were starting to retreat, but they were retreating very slowly, we dismounted. I think it was Greymane, or he was just too far up. We had to pounce on. I remember screaming, "Get him!" And we pounced on him, and then we saw that they were still moving. And then I said, "Wait, I'm Lucio." I pressed E, and then we moved forward. And I'm really just realizing I'm actually gloating right now. I'm sorry. Anyway, no. As soon as the Greymane went down, we knew we had to keep going, and we got 2 more. And as soon as the second they went down, boss was said. Like, it was just like a mutual understanding. We all ran in. Shui said, "I'm gonna go and turn in now while you guys do that." And we had a double push. As soon as we got some more kills in the top lane, we knew this is game. So it was really a group decision, but it was very keep level-headed decision making at the very end. So
I mean, clearly you made the right decision. So
yeah,
that was quite the turnaround there.
definitely. Oh boy.
I think
Yeah,
that's
I'm
about
sorry. I've just my heart's still pounding. Sorry.
completely understandable. But unless you had other questions, Mongoose, I think that's it for me.
Nope. Just let's give our buddy here, Rec, a chance to any shout outs on your way out the door, my friend.
Sure. I guess I'll shout out obviously my boys, Arrow, Shui, Carve, and my man Zulkin as well. We'll throw Abishore in there too. Victor, I know you're watching. Thank you. And Brandon, I know you're Smalls. I know you're watching too. So those 2 guys. And as far as shout outs go, I have to shout out Murda, because if not for him, exactly 1 year ago, I joined this team to this day, March 12th. I joined this team, and to win tonight means a lot to me. And everything that he's done for me, I have to really thank him for that. Just this past year has been incredible, and I can't thank him enough for letting me join this organization. So
yeah, it's his ReGen anniversary. We all got to hang out at BlizzCon. It was a lot of fun.
That's true. We did.
All right, Rec. Well, congrats again. Say hi to the guys for me. And
Absolutely
for everybody
will.
in chat, huge thank yous for me. There were a lot of subs. I could not even catch all of them. An anonymous sub gifter who I have a sneaky suspicion I know who it is, threw a bunch of them out there. So thanks again, guys. Now I have to go set up like the alerts and the bit leaders, because there's actually bits and subs. So thanks again. Really, really great. We're going to throw you over to Murda, who has Division C more. Division C action. Born, any shout outs before we throw that way?
Up. Mostly to you, Mongoose. Thanks again for having me here to cast with you. Shout out to Calculated Throw and ReGen both for great games tonight, for letting me cast and for giving me my first 3-game series of the season. So hopefully we will all meet again in playoffs.
All right, guys. Well, have a good night and enjoy. Can't counterpick stupid versus Dive Hard Division C West with Murda on the call. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.